Back to the weather. With the heavy rain and flooding this week, homeowners worry about potential damage.
But people living in one Richmond community may have even more reason to worry about what's happening under their homes. Tonight, on the 90th anniversary of a terrible Richmond disaster, our Mark Holmberg explores what lies beneath Church Hill.
90 years ago today, the Church Hill Tunnel collapsed. It's been one of the legendary tragedies in city history, but it had been a menace much longer than that. Is the danger over?
This 4,000-foot-long tunnel had been a nightmare since the deadly construction began in 1871. 90 years ago, rail workers were widening the shaky tunnel when it collapsed, entombing engineer Tom Mason at the throttle. At least one and probably two or three of the 200 or so laborers inside were also buried alive. Rescuers dug straight down through Jefferson Park to recover the body of the white engineer, Tom Mason. The reverse lever rammed against his suffocated chest. The laborers, Engine 231, and the 10 flat cars remained buried inside this tunnel of misery.
In December of 1926, the city of Richmond and the C&O had finally completed filling it in. And there were some newspaper stories that this was great news because a lot of houses had sort of shaken. The people living near the tunnel were upset.
You can see how big it is and how difficult it would be to fill it all the way to the top with sand. They pushed it in and cribbed it with railroad ties. Much of it has settled. I know this because I'm one of the few people who have gone inside and crawled on top.
A tennis court above has been swallowed. Houses have shifted.
A notable one was the U.S. Post Office on Broad Street, and some of the houses nearby started to sink.
You can see the water oozing out of the sides on this portal. It runs like this year-round, sometimes heavier than others. The eastern portal is still just as creepy and dangerous as it's ever been. Right down there, that's like quicksand.
The tunnel is filled almost entirely with 14 million gallons of sandy water. Residents above in Church Hill know how sensitive their ground is, what that could mean if the tunnel gave way.
If I lived on top of the tunnel, I would be worried about an overweight squirrel jumping on the roof or something. I think it's something that one of these days is going to cave in.
Now I asked the city engineer if he's inspected this portal or the other one. He said he hasn't and doesn't know if anybody else has. If either end gave away, it could really change a lot of things on Church Hill. Shaka Bottom, Mark Holmberg, CBS 6 News.